Guys, check it out. Check it out. It's garden day. Take a look at this. So I finally got some starter plants and a little bit of wind to go with them. What we have 3 big boy tomatoes, 3 better boy tomatoes, and 3 Roma tomatoes. And then I got a couple of jalapeno pepper plants on top of that, and an abundance of seeds. So here's the thing is that I went to the greenhouse yesterday. I didn't do any filming in there, but I did take some clips just to show you how beautiful it is. Cliff Avenue Greenhouse, they have 2 locations here in town, one on 26th and one on 41st. And I went to the 26th Street location just because it's closer to where I live, but they're both like really nice places to go to. It's hard to feel like you're having a tough day if you're in a room full of colorful flowers, and the smell in this place is wonderful, as you can imagine. But my issue right now is I'm feeling like a bit of a time crunch, and I feel like that's maybe something that I'm putting onto myself. And it's really just a matter of timing, because where I grew up, we plant gardens at the end of March. We don't do this stuff in May. So psychologically, I already feel like I'm behind schedule. And then on top of that, the garden space opened 2 weeks ago. You know this because it's been that long since I showed you a video to just introduce that I have the garden space. So on top of being mentally late on the process, I am actually 2 weeks late on top of it. I promise you, everybody else already has this done. I'm the last person to go out there and do it, or at least it won't surprise me to find out that I am. So today's objective is to get out there and get this stuff in the ground as soon as possible. I'll check back with you when I get to the garden. And just like that, we're at the community garden, or at least on the hill behind the garden. And wow, has this place changed in the last couple of weeks? I can't wait to show it to you. But it's a little bit intimidating because the amount of work that people have done on their gardens since I was last here 2 weeks ago makes me feel incredibly underprepared, and feeling underprepared makes you feel very overwhelmed, right? So I feel underprepared and overwhelmed just by nature of what I see everyone else has done, because I've done none of this and didn't even consider doing any of it. The good news is, though, I was really stressing for nothing in terms of being worried about having my stuff not yet planted. People have done a lot of work preparing their gardens, and in fact, there's a couple of people out there doing some preparation work right now. But not really anyone has planted anything yet. There's a couple of things planted in a couple of spots, but for the most part, no one's planted anything yet. So in fact, now that I'm here to plant some things and I feel like I'm the first one, I went from feeling like I'm doing it too late to feeling like I'm doing it too soon, because these people are from this area. They know what to do much better than I do. So I don't know if maybe I should go ahead and plant today, or if I should just take a look around and come back in a week and do it, because that seems to make more sense. Anyway, let me get around to the actual garden space, and I'll give you a look at what it's looking like, and we'll figure it out from there. Who knows what's going to happen? Now, when I first got here, I noticed that there was a lady in the garden space next to mine preparing her garden. So before I did anything else, I just went over to say hello and to introduce myself. Based on this lady's, based on her appearance, her dress, her manner of speaking, I would guess that she is from somewhere in the mountains of Peru. I'm always amazed at how diverse the people of Sioux Falls are. There's literally people here from all over the world. But I would guess this lady was from Peru, and we had, we did not understand a word each other said, but we did have a very nice conversation that was full of smiles. But I'm just a little bit worried that she might have thought I was giving her my garden spot, because she said thank you. And at one point, she asked me if I wanted money, and I said no. So I'm wondering if she thinks I gave her my spot. I really hope not. So that's one reason why I feel like even more pressure to go ahead and get something planted. Now that I'm a little closer, I see some people do have some things planted and started already. Most people do not, but they're like in this like hardcore preparation mode, like intense gardening more than I expected. So anyway, let me go inside. Those ladies are still there doing some work, so I'm going to do my best to give you a look around without showing them at all, and we'll just make a decision from there as to what we're going to do. All right, so here we go. Now, you can see that there is a lot more fencing than there was 2 weeks ago. I am not the only spot without a fence, but those of us without one are definitely in the minority. That's a fact. But I believe the primary reason for this fencing is because of the rabbits. That's my assumption anyway. I don't think it's so much that they're staking their territory. It's just that they want some protection from the rabbits, and they want something for viney plants to be able to grow on. This is a cute little spot. They have no fence either, but they built a little greenhouse. We have had, in the last 2 weeks since I was here last, we've had a few nights where there were freeze and frost warnings. So this is a very good idea. And those freeze and frost warnings were really what made me comfortable with the fact that I had not planted anything yet. But you see, some people are planted and ready to go. This plot back here in the corner has flowers bordering the fence, and some other things planted throughout. So a few people have planted already. Most people have not. They're just doing preparation work and getting ready to plant probably here in the next week. You see the Peruvian ladies back there maybe working a hoe. That's right, I said working a hoe. They're back there working their spot and getting it ready to plant. The pathways through here are incredibly narrow. I remember that from last summer when I came through and everything had already been in bloom. It was very difficult to walk through the vegetation. It was like walking through unclaimed jungle. But it was also kind of cool at the same time. So I see them working a hoe, and I had intended to buy a hoe to prepare my garden. I wanted to make it into rows like this spot over here. And I don't have a tiller, and if I rented a tiller, I don't really have a way to get it here. So my solution was I was just going to get a hoe and do it the old-fashioned way. But prior to opening the garden, they tilled the soil for everyone. And I was like, okay, well, that's really kind, and it saves me a lot of work. I can just plant directly into that. And I can. But now that I see them out here chopping up their ground, I kind of want to chop mine up too. So maybe I shouldn't plant today. Maybe I should. I think these plants are going to be fine to live on the balcony for a week or so. And I'm going to turn around here because I don't want to get these ladies on film, and they're right next to my spot. There's no way for me to turn that direction without getting them. Just trying to be polite. I'm well within my rights too, but I'm not trying to push my rights. I'm just trying to show the garden space. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will just keep them alive on the balcony for another week or so. The seeds are fine. And in fact, the seeds all say that for South Dakota, they should be planted in May or June. We are in the middle of May, so it's prime time, and it is a short growing season here, so I want to get started as soon as possible. However, we're still well within the time, and as you can see, most spaces here are not yet planted either, but they are prepared. They are prepared. We want to do it very soon. All right. So after I've filmed that section, the two ladies who were working in the space next to mine, I noticed that they had a lot of sticks piled up in my area that people are using to build fencing around their gardens. So that further pressed my suspicion that the lady had misunderstood me and thought that I was giving her my space, which indeed she did. She's not from Peru at all. I was way off on that guess. She's actually from Nepal. Let me give you a little look around the neighborhood. I thought while I was here I would take a quick walk and show you around. I'm not going to name any names, but I was told by someone that this is a bad neighborhood and that I'm likely to get mugged while gardening. I mean, does it look like a bad neighborhood to you? Just looks like your typical Midwest neighborhood. Probably several of these people are retired and have lived in the same home for 20 years. But anyway, yeah, they had definitely thought I was giving them my spot. Thankfully, the daughter was there this time and she understood English, but they're from Nepal. And we were able to straighten that out. I told her I'm coming back in a few days to plant, and I was just making a quick video to show what it looks like before I plant. And I think that's the plan. I think I need to get a hoe, come out, mix up the ground really good, make some rows out of it, and then plant. So I'll probably save this video and combine it with whatever I filmed that day and just put it all out at once. But while we're here and taking this stroll through the neighborhood, let me go ahead and tell you what the process was. Because in my first video, I started to tell you the process. I told you that I applied in January. Then I got distracted. I lost my train of thought and I didn't tell you anything else about it. So if you watch that video, you just think you apply in January and poof, you've got a garden, right? That's not the way it is at all. Let's take it back to the very beginning. The program is ran by the Minnehaha County Master Gardeners Program. They have these community gardens sprinkled all over the city, and they run them in conjunction with the local state university. So in order to apply, applications do open up in January on their website. I don't have it memorized, but I will look it up and put a link to their website in the description of this video. You find their website, you go on it at some point in January when applications open up and you fill out an application. Now, the basis for consideration on the applications goes first to people who have had a garden before, either at that location or another location. If there are any garden spots unclaimed after that, then consideration is given to anyone who is new to the Master Gardeners Program, which would have included me this year. When you fill out the application to give you better odds of getting the space, they allow you to submit for a primary location and a secondary location. I'm not sure how many locations there are in total, but there's a lot of them, and you get to pick a first choice and a second choice, essentially. So for my first choice, I picked Leaders Park back there for a couple of reasons. One, I had been there before, so it felt familiar. The other reason is that when I was there before, I noticed a couple of spots that were not being used. And so, so I figured I had better odds of getting something there if they weren't all being used, right? For my second location, I chose Falls Park, which is a much smaller community garden. It's about half of the size of the one at Leaders Park. It's in a prime location. I figured there's very little chance of getting anything there, but why not throw my name in the hat, because who wouldn't want a garden at the waterfalls, right? So that was my second choice, and obviously I got selected for my first choice at Leaders Park. Now, after you submit your application, it becomes sort of a waiting game. You'll wait until probably about mid-March, and you will receive an email at that time telling you that you were selected and which garden you were selected at, and it will give you a time frame with which to secure your spot. And the way that you do that is you go down to the local university extension office, you tell them your name, which garden you were selected at, and you pay the lady $20, and she gives you a receipt with all that information on it. I find that it's best practice that at that time to reply to the email just to confirm with them that you have taken care of. After that, it is a little bit more of a waiting game. You'll wait until about the first or second week of April, and you will get another email. This email will introduce who the team leaders are for your garden. It will tell you the rules of the garden. It will tell you when the garden is open and available and at what date in October it will be closing. It just gives you all the information that you need along with your plot number so that you can go out and find your space. So you'll get that email the first or second week of April, and the garden is usually open about the first week of May. They will stake it all out. They will till the soil. They will do everything they can to get it prepared for you, and then you can do your own preparations on top of that. Okay, so it's late night. I'm back at Quackers Casa having some sweet and spicy chicken, and I decided I just want to go ahead and wrap this video up, get it out there, and start 100% completely fresh with the planting video because this was intended to be the planting video, and that turned out to not be the case. But I want that one to just be completely fresh with no reminders of today. I just want it separate because I'm really tripping. I'm tripping hard that I went out there today and I accidentally gave my garden away to an old lady from Nepal. Hey, how does this happen? How? I don't understand. I went there. I saw a lady who was working the space beside mine, so I went over to say hello and introduce myself, and she didn't speak English, and I was trying to convey to her that I had the space beside hers. So I pointed to it and did this. I did it twice. I said that space is mine. That one is mine. How do you see that and think the person is giving you the space? How? How? I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand that you don't speak English and you didn't understand my words, but even in terms of just international gestures, how do you look at this and think the person is giving it away to you? That's just absurd. Thankfully, her daughter spoke English somewhat well, and I think I got it straightened out with the daughter, but I'm only about 90% sure. What do I do? I'm only 90% sure. That means I'm 10% sure that I'm going to go out there and find that they've tried to take over my spot. And they already had two spots out there when you're only supposed to have one. And I saw them working two different spots and they're trying to get a third one. If you want a third one, it ain't going to be mine. It ain't going to be mine. So hopefully I got it straightened out with the daughter. The plan is I'm going to go out tomorrow. I'm going to buy a hoe. Sometime within the next couple of days, when I get off work, I'm going to go out and hoe the space up into rows because I get off work at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a little before sunrise. It'll be roughly just into sunrise by the time I get there. And so it'll be nice and cool. It'll be a good time of day to do it. So I'll do it after work sometime in the next couple of days. Hoe it all up into rows, and then a day or two after that, I'll do the planting. It'll be all ready at that point. So that's the plan. But if I go out there in a couple of days to hoe my space into rows, and I go out there and I see all kinds of stuff out of my space and fencing and whatever, you're going to probably see the very first ever Quackers crash out video. And I don't want that to happen, but it does have the potential because I can crash out just like anyone else. I'm going to be tripping if I go out there and they've taken over my garden. I'll tell you that. I did not mean to accidentally give my garden away to some old lady from Nepal. So anyway, I'm just going to wrap this up and put it out. This was just sort of an unplanned impromptu bonus video anyway. The main video this week was the Pettigrew house, and that one's out. The main video for next week is still the outlaw video, and that's still on tap for Wednesday. So this was just something bonus anyway. I was going to put it up, and it is what it is. But I really hope and pray that when I go out there next, I don't find that they've taken over my space because I don't know how I'm going to handle that. We'll see. How does this happen? How? How?